Hello, everyone, and welcome back with the poem A Legend of Northland. It's written by Phoebe Carey. So, once again, welcome back with the poem A Legend of Northland. So, first of all, I would like to give you introduction of this poem. A legend of Northland is a ballad. Ballad means a traditional song. A ballad is a poem narrating a story in short stanzas. Ballad is such kind of poem which tells a story in short stanzas, and in the poem all the stanzas comprise four lines in total. You will see there are 16 stanzas in this poem, and these stanzas will tell us a story. So, ballad are a part of folk culture also, or you can say popular culture, and are passed on orally from one generation to the next. So, folk culture is a story of any area and is known as ballad. So, here, folk culture comprises of traditional stories which are passed on from one generation to the next generation. So, this story is of Northland area, the area which is near the North Pole, and this exact place is not specified, but Northland means the area in the north most part of the earth near the North Pole, and legend means a historical story. So, one which is very old and has been passed on from generation to generation. So let's see this poem, what we will find and try to understand. So, stanza 1. Away, away in the Northland, where the hours of the day are few and nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them through. The reason means the area, the place around the North Pole. North Pole means Northland. The duration of the day is very less, and reason of this because its position is such that sun rays reach for a very less time, and when this area is experiencing winter season, the duration of night is very long, and the daytime hours are very less. So in line 4, they word they refers to the people who live in this region, and the poet says that the duration of the night time is so long that the people cannot sleep them through. So if they go to bed, take few hours of sleep, and then they wake up and it is still night time, he wants to emphasize on the fact that the duration of the night is very long. What is there in stanza 2? Where they harness the swift reindeer to the sleighs when it snows, and children look like bear's cubs in their funny, furry clothes. Here, sleighs means a vehicle on runners for conveying loads or passengers over snow or ice, often pulled by often pulled by draught animals. And to harnesses means to tie the reindeers with the rope to sledges so that it can be used for transportation. And swift means something which runs very fast. So means to say, finally, meaning of this stanza, the Northland region experiences severe cold traditions, and it is a snowy area. The reindeer is an animal which is found in this polar region. People tie the reindeers to sledges and then the reindeers pull up the sledges. He adds that children look like young ones of a bear because they wear funny looking clothes made of fur, which is like the furry skin of a bear. Stanza 3. They tell them they tell them a curious story. I don't believe it's a true, and yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. It's a very good poem and interesting. Once again, you see that rhythm is came. They tell them a curious story. I don't believe it's true, and yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. In line 1, they refers to the parents or elders, and them refers to the children or younger generation. The younger generation, the poet says that he doesn't think that the story is true. Okay, poet says this. But if he tells the story to the reader, maybe the reader could learn a lesson from it, that the story gives an important message. So let's talk about next stanza, and now the story starts. Once when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below and walked about it, preaching just as he did, Saint Peter. Who is Saint Peter? You might be thinking, who is this guy? Saint Peter is an apostle of Christ. Uh, Now, another problem you may have, what is apostle? There, so in simple meaning, a disciple or follower of Jesus Christ, and preaching to give a religious talk. So, what was in this line? Once when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below and walked about it, preaching just as he did. The story is about Saint Peter. When Saint Peter used to live in the world and he went around giving religious lectures to the people just like all saints do. And then an incident happened. So what incident happened, we came to just try to know in stanza 5. He came to the door of a cottage in traveling round the earth, where a little woman was making cakes and baking them on the hearth. Hearth means a fireplace where you do cooking. So when Saint Peter was moving around the world giving religious lectures to the people, he reached the door of a cottage where a small woman was making cakes. And she was baking the cakes in the fireplace. Now let's come in stanza 6. And being faint with fasting, for the day was almost done. For the day was almost done. Done means going to over. He asked her from her store of cakes to give him a single one. As, as Saint Peter had not eaten anything the entire day, and he was very hungry and was feeling weak. So he went to this woman who was baking cakes, and he asked for one cake out of the many cakes that she had baked. Then what happened in 7? So she made a little cake, but it is baking late. She looked at it and thought it seemed too large to give away. It's a very simple meaning. वो सोचती है कि इतना बड़ा केक कैसे दे दूँ. Now you can understand what kind of woman she was. Okay, let's see. The woman was selfish. She did not uh, give cake from her store. Instead, she started making a very small cake for Saint Peter. And she did not want to share her things, but when she put the cake for baking, she looked at it and thought that this cake was too big to be given to someone. So, like that here. Next, stanza. Therefore, she needed another, and still a smaller one. But it looked when she turned it over as large as the first had been. I had needed Miss to make dough from flour. The little miser woman thought that the cake was too big to be given away, and so she started making another smaller cake. When she looked at the cake, and she again felt that it was as big as the previous one, so again she was not ready to give this smaller cake to Saint Peter. So this much about today, and thank you. Have a nice day.